Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Cigar Avengers Podcast. I'm your host, Cigar Head Fred, and I'm joined today with my brothers. You already know the Freaky Frog himself, Mr. Enomatic. Mr. Enomatic. I gotta get through it. It's already been. I gotta get through it.
It's the Nick Frog today, baby.
Oh, I'm sorry. The New York Knicks Freaky Frog, the master of Freaky Frogness. Enomatic is in the building, and we got Mr. Incognito himself, brother Steve-O, in the bottom. What's going on? And listen, y'all, we have a special guest joining us today. This is the CEO of PCA. This is the man himself, Mr. Joshua Habursky. Did I say that right? Because I hate getting people's names wrong.
You did. You got it.
Okay, cool. Good. Listen, we have Joshua Habursky on with us, man. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for taking out some time and joining us today, man. How you doing?
Doing well. Thank you guys for having me. Looking forward to having a good conversation. And I'm smoking an Oliva right now, and it's Happy Friday.
Oh yes. Yeah. What's up, Fly Guys? Cigars in the building.
Yes,
so.
Sir.
First things first, man. First.
Hey, Fred, he just say he's smoking an Oliva. Fred, what are you smoking?
Oh, you know what? My bad. I was actually about to get into it, ask y'all what everybody else is smoking. Listen. All right, so I'm pulling the Roger. Shout out to Roger. I'm pulling the Roger. So I lit up this Ferio Tego, the world famous cigar bar cigar from Ferio Tego, and I enjoyed it so much, and I didn't have time to finish it last night because I had to tend to the wife and the kids. But other than that, I'm pulling the Roger today. But what I have next to smoke, and hopefully YouTube don't, because YouTube been cracking down on how we show cigars and all that. We gonna talk about that too, Josh. But this is the Bond Roberts, the Petite 109, one of my favorites, and then I have, of course, I always messed up the name on it, but the Flor de las Antillas, the Antillas, the San Andreas in Toro.
Okay, that's pretty good for a teacher, Fred.
Hey man, you know, I gotta work on it. Go ahead, Steve-O, what you smoking?
I'm smoking the Cocodrillo.
Nice.
That Grand Toro.
Oh, that's the new Cocodrillo.
Yeah, Grand Toro.
Oh, I really want to know how that is.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
I'm smoking the T110, the Corojo.
Okay. T110, nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then, I started this one earlier today. It's the Villager Miami. I started that one earlier, but
how'd you like it? You didn't like it?
No, I liked it. I was
about to say, bro, because I'm
not one my comments myself, but I enjoyed this Villager. We can keep it a buck, bro. We can keep it a buck. It's a lot of Villigers that that weren't as enjoyable before, but the Miami is really good. I don't know, Joshua. I mean, you smoked a lot of cigars. So I got a question. You smoked Villager for sure?
Yeah. Yep.
So I mean, have you smoked the Miami, right?
Yes, I like the Lancero. That format.
That Lancero is a bad motherfucker right there, man.
Mm-hmm.
I like that Lancero, and I mean Villager is one of those brands for me that really because let's see, I'm 34. I've been smoking cigars since I was 20. When I first got introduced to Villager, I was maybe around 24, 25. So Villager was always one of those. I love underdog brands, and Villager to me is one of those underdog brands that if they have a lot of cigars in the portfolio, but a lot of people skip over them, and you never know which one actually may be pretty good because they actually do have some pretty good cigars in their portfolio. We got Vance Taylor of Stoic Cigars in the building. What's up, man? Oh man, the weather's doing good. The weather. So Josh, we had him on the show last week,
and Texas weather is so bipolar. So what ended up happening was towards the end of the show, I got rained on. So I just got this shed, and like it just it just got put up that day. So whatever needed to be sealed isn't sealed just yet. So I was getting rained on. The rain was hitting my laptop, and I was like, okay, I couldn't hear anything. It was super loud, but we're good today. Even though it did rain, it rained earlier, but the sun is shining. We're all good.
Well, lucky for you, it's thunderstorming up here,
bro. But
Yeah,
we've
hopefully it
been
holds
dealing
off
with
here.
the rain.
Yeah.
Machine gun fire. That's exactly what it was.
But speaking of advance, man, what an amazing conversation, man. Just
that was awesome.
Really
that was an awesome conversation.
Amazing conversation, and it
also,
really gets you thinking and change your mindset as well. If you really think about it, and the way you look at it.
Yeah. And also got to give a huge shout out to our sponsor. Shout out to Small Batch. Shout out to the guys over there at Small Batch for helping us out over here Little Old Cigar Avenger Podcast. We appreciate y'all, man. And also make sure y'all head over there to Small Batch. Use code Avengers. Use code Avengers and you get off a little surprise on your order. But listen, let's go ahead and kick off this conversation, man, because I gotta ask you, you're 34, you and I are the same age. Did you ever think in all of our little 34 years of life, did you ever think that you would be the CEO of PCA?
No, not in a million years. Every day I wake up, I'm kind of like, I'm blessed. I mean, I have my dream job. I've had my dream job working for this association for 7 years. Even before I was the CEO, I was the head lobbyist and got to defend the industry. I originally set out to be a political science professor or history professor and wanted to, basically learn how politics operated. So I started as an advocate, as a lobbyist, and did a stint with the Motorcyclists Association, American Diabetes Association, Community Bankers, and then I landed in the cigar world. And I had been a cigar consumer. I started smoking cigars in college. We had the Winston Churchill Society. So Friday we would talk politics and smoke cigars. And now I kind of get to do that at a pretty high level, which is amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, man, that is amazing. Go ahead.
Now, have you battled with Kathy Hochul about this 75% tax up in New York?
75% tax. Now they introduced this generational smoking ban or nicotine ban. We have a petition on Cigar Action, our advocacy platform. It's a shame. Unfortunately, New York, you have a lot of people purchasing cigars from Pennsylvania, because or on the Native American reservations because of the pricing and the taxes, and they're hurting themselves by having such high taxes. Same thing with states like California and Massachusetts. I mean, those three, it's unfortunate because you have a lot of historic retailers that have really bared the burden of this. And I know the state association in New York is doing a lot of work to roll back some of those taxes and streamline licensing too. Like you're seeing some states do positive things where they're allowing the consumption of alcohol or food and beverage in, adult 21 and over verified locations. That's good for Main Street America. Yeah. So, let's promote small businesses. Let's promote, people coming together and having an idea and a dream. And, for me, cigars is that there's no better social connection with other people. We are the cigar industry is the, barber shop of 50 years ago. It's one of the only places where you can sit down, not know anyone, strike up a conversation and meet a lifelong friend, not knowing anyone. You can go to any city and just sit down and I do this all the time. A lot of times I'll go to cigar lounges because, like I said, I'm a consumer first, and not even say what I do. Like I just walk in, buy a cigar, and start chatting with customers. And you know, sometimes it comes out that, yeah, I'm the CEO of the PCA, but like, unless I'm asked a question of what I do, I'll just, you know, have a casual conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's so interesting because of the fact she just passed a law here 2 days ago where she made it legal for bars to be open till 4 a.m. again. So, you know, she went and was closing the bars at 2 a.m. and she just passed a bill last week to say they go open till 4 a.m. So it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know.
So how did you get started into like what cigars? What's like your first memory? How did you get into the industry?
So I had a really important mentor who started this Winston Churchill Society, Dr. Joseph DeSaro. I went to Washington and Jefferson College outside of Pittsburgh. And, you know, if you got an A on a test, he would give you a cigar. And that was literally my first. I mean, he used to smoke Macanudos and Monte Cristos. And like, I think one time, like, you know, Rocky Patel Java Mint, you know, I went through that phase as I first started. You know, I don't really smoke too many flavored cigars now or infused cigars, but like I remember distinctly having, you know, Java Mints until I got accustomed to, you know, non-flavored or non-fused cigars. And, you know, I always wanted to get the A. And this professor, he had so many people go to law school, and like he would grade like you were in law school. He would only give 1 A in the entire class. The rest, you know, you would get a B plus, but there would be 1 A. So everyone would avoid his classes. And I was a nerd. So I took all 5 of his classes and got an A each time. So you can imagine I got quite a few cigars from him during my college career.
Okay.
That's cool as hell. That's, you know, and I mean, you know, honestly, because I mean, I see myself, because I'm a teacher, so I see myself later down the road becoming a professor, and I think that'll be. Well, I don't know how they'll do it now, though. I probably could sneak a cigar to somebody if I ask them first, because you know, try to give me a cigar. You know, I'm like, okay, I'll just keep my cigar to myself.
I keep that tradition alive because I teach at George Washington University, 2 classes. And a lot of times the last class, I teach lobbying, you know, how to lobby at the state and federal level. And I will usually the last class, I invite people to the office or students that want to partake in the cigar. These are graduate students, so they're older. But then the other cool thing about academia and cigars, we launched last year a course on luxury cigar marketing at FIU. And so you can take this course, get a certificate. We're offering it again late September this year. It's a 3-day masterclass. And last year we did the last day at Tabacon Lounge with La Aurora, and they had a spirits pairing, chocolate pairing, and the cigars because we weren't allowed to smoke on campus. Well, I was now able to work with the administration and get an exemption for educational purposes to allow cigar smoking for that class. So this year we'll be smoking on FIU's campus, and that shows like little advocacy. I have the board of regents or the board of directors of the university. They voted to amend that. I have that up in my office as something that I'm really proud of. Also because now I'm going to FIU and getting my doctorate, so I can smoke on campus for educational purposes.
So Josh, so cool. I have an interesting fact for you. I was actually on the debate team in high school. So I love debating, because like it's always because it's always great to see people go one way, but you come with but you could always look at something in 2 ways of life.
Right.
So we were they actually had an event in Boston I was supposed to go to, and I couldn't make it because I had a rugby game, so I couldn't make the debate. But I I would be there, like, just and really just kind of like stirring up conversation, because everybody there pretty much had the same kind of mindset, and just to go up and have those people kind of debating different type of stuff, and they're like, and the teacher is like, well, the person who was running was just like, wow, like it's just interesting.
FIU has been great for working with the association. Our partnership continues to expand. I mean, at our trade show this year, we had the dean of the School of Hospitality, and it was wonderful to see what he had to say. His session was alongside Rocky Patel, and talking about burn and the lounges and how you set up a comfortable atmosphere. And they recently allowed us to contribute Ricardo Carioni, he's our director of education and international. He and I did a journal article about luxury cigar marketing. So it's in their official journal, and we're alongside, they talk about private jets and cruise lines and luxury watches and all of that. So, I think that's the future of bringing new people into this segment, this lifestyle, this passion that we all are accustomed to.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that this isn't a youth access thing where, manufacturers are marketing to kids. This is an adult, pastime that people, statistically, the cigar aficionados have less than 2 a month. I know, probably present company excluded. I know I smoke more than that, the average.
Yeah.
But it is something that the luxury side of things, that's where we're seeing more people come in. And over COVID, when you had, no social interactions going on, we saw a huge jump in people trying cigars, because in their backyards, 3-4 people, got together and they would enjoy each other's company, connected by the leaf. And that's something that we're seeing as a trend continue. And we're seeing the demographic shift. Right now, our largest growing membership segment is African American female owned cigar lounges. So it's great to see more and more people, that don't look like Winston Churchill. And if they do look like Winston Churchill, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's good to see the diversity of the cigar industry, something that's celebrated.
Yeah. And and I just saw, of course, because I get the emails from you guys. I just saw you guys this article on that, with women in the industry is getting more involved. And I honestly, and I remember, because, coming from the cigar reviewer standpoint, when I first started doing cigar reviews, it was back in 2020. Then I always wanted to take it to Instagram, and Instagram was a really big thing, especially for the cigar community, when it came to doing live interviews and and doing this, and I would see a lot of women get on there. And as of now, there's still, I forgot, I think her name is Pretty Puffs. I think it's Pretty Puff Smokes, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's her Instagram. And she hosts a all female panel, and what they do, they still do this now. They'll get on Instagram every once in a while, because sometimes Instagram will like, all right, well, it's a little too much. So they're not as lenient as they used to be back in the COVID days. So they would, smoke a cigar, and each one, they would do like a Instagram panel review. And they've been doing it for a while. And I thought it was really awesome to see, because now they have, and for a lot of them, they just got started smoking during COVID. And so now they found their hobby that they really enjoy and really love. And I love this diverse shit, man. I think it's really, really cool to see, because I mean, it's always something to learn when it comes to cigars. There's no one that knows everything that goes with tobacco. There's always something new that you got to learn with it. And I think it's a really cool hobby to get into, if you're of age. Yep. If you are of age, you got to say that. And so it's really, really cool. So Steve-O, did you have a question for him right now?
Well, I just got to ask, since we were talking about education, I know I just saw like they have a cigar academy, like, so can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we bought the Cigar Academy from Oliva, I want to say a month, just over a month ago. And those, we offer courses for people, retailers, consumers. We've been doing a lot of classes with like operators. So duty free, in airports internationally, cigars are sold a lot at the airports, not as much in the United States, although we're meeting with Duty Free Americas to talk about that, to see how we can grow that segment a little more. But it's kind of provides foundational training. We're working on the next segment, and my plan is working with FIU to broaden that partnership where the Cigar Academy and FIU, it will be accredited through FIU so that it's not just PCA Cigar Academy, just like we have for the master class. And then we also launched a partnership with Kaiser University in Nicaragua for factory management and operations. So one of the things that I tried to do in coming in the last 2 years running the association is focusing on building the professionalized nature. A lot of this is you kind of learn as you go. Even in my role, I'm learning something every day. But like, to get the accreditation, to get the established standards like that goes a long way when we're meeting with regulators and legislators that are trying to say, well, you guys are just, not established or not credible. We can point and say, look, we've had these training courses. We talk about age verification. We do all of those things that are the core foundations of it. So those partnerships on education are going to continue. We also have 2 books in the works right now. And I'm happy to talk about those as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. We got plenty of time. So Vance, Vance is in here. Shout out to Vance, man. And also shout out to Vance Taylor of Stoic Cigars. So if you have not smoked you a Stoic, make sure you try them. Make sure you try them out. There, of course, he has one of the best blenders in the game. They creating those cigars, what he creates, but be able to blend those cigars and put them together for him. Class Kellner. Shout out to Class too, man. So the question from Vance is, I want to ask Josh how we bring the young trade and blue collar demographic into the premium cigar community.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is the peer to peer. You are seeing people that are they might, and I use the luxury market, and it sounds like that it's expensive threshold, but it's really subtle luxury, much like a good quality bourbon that ages over time. You can get a good bourbon still for $30-$40 a bottle, much like you can get a great premium cigar for $8 to $12. So I think that price point isn't necessarily always a must criteria for luxury products. So I think having others that enjoy cigars, like I try, and promote and spread the gospel of cigars to whoever, and say, like, look, if you want to try something that's relaxing, that you'll get to meet people, you'll network, this is a great avenue for you to do that. So, emphasizing subtle luxury and the celebratory nature of things, like people, whether you win a championship, what do the athletes do after they win a championship? Everyone's out lighting up a cigar. For me, in personal milestones in life, like there's nothing else that I would rather do is to collect a group of my friends and family and enjoy a cigar, and share cigars. Like I always get the question, oh, you're the CEO of the Premium Cigar Association. You must have this amazing humidor with all these rare cigars. And the truth is, no, I guarantee you, all of you have better humidors than I do, because I smoke them and I give them away. Like I have very minimal cigars that are like noteworthy. I mean, they're all noteworthy, but like I don't have any like rare finds that are in my humidor because I smoke them. They're meant to be enjoyed. So like Unfortunately, I don't fall into that collector category. I should. I mean, but I know some people do. Just like you collect bourbon, you collect, rare cigars. There are people that do that. More power to them, because I don't have the willpower to not enjoy the cigar.
Yeah, I feel that. I definitely understand.
Saturday night at 11:30, I will be smoking a celebratory cigar. It's gonna be. Hey, listen, I haven't smoked my Davidoff Auto yet.
Listen. So he was supposed to smoke it because his son graduated, so he was supposed to take that with him, but he didn't. So I mean,
I ain't bring it with me. So Sunday night, that cigar might be cracked open, and listen, that's what it's made for moments like that.
Yep.
For moments
for sure.
like. I have a question for you. So, like you guys have been battling the FDA for so long, and they always find a way to cut. It's like every 2 or 3 years they're coming and saying, "Oh, I want a rematch." I'll you know what? Like how do you guys like going up against them and for instance the fight for flavored tobacco?
Yeah. There will always be a set of challenges, whether it's local, state, federal, some of the international stuff that's going on. We're lumped in, and unfortunately, we're seen as just any other tobacco product. They don't want to look at the actual specifics of premium cigars, the health data, the usage patterns, all of the above. So, we've been very aggressive, and like a lot of times these public health groups or anti-tobacco groups, as I say, they'll put something out there that's completely wrong, and we'll take aim at them. We'll fire across the bow. And previously, and that's kind of my style that I bring to the table. Like, we're not going to hide back through the shadows. Like, I never say no to an interview. I did an interview last week about third-hand smoke. And, they're talking about this new law in California where basically if you smoke on your property, inside in your backyard, your front porch, you have to disclose to the buyer of the home that there was smoking that occurred in that building as a way to devalue your home. So unfortunately, smoking, the act of combustible smoke, they've been over the years trying to make us all social pariahs. And unfortunately, when it comes to premium cigars, we're lumped in with all of the other products, nicotine products. And my job is to promote premium cigars and talk about that story. For the longest time, people in Capitol Hill thought premium cigars were just big cigarettes. And I think that has changed with our wins in the courts against the FDA. The FDA is, if you count appeals and all of this other stuff, they're 0-5 against the cigar industry. I mean, they have not been able to win. The flavor rule was withdrawn. That was a good thing that this administration did in the beginning. But we're always going to face challenges. I look at it as I need to now kind of having the dual role of doing the federal lobbying plus running the association. I need to build a war chest. I need to make sure that we're able to fund future lawsuits and fund future lobbying campaigns. And we are. I mean, some of this international stuff that I've been doing, we get criticism. Why are they doing a show in Dubai? Why are they, doing something in Hong Kong and Macau? We're making money from those, and then we're applying it in the defense of U.S. retailers, U.S. consumers, and manufacturers. So, the show that we did in Dubai last year, that paid for our California lawsuit. So, kind of looking at things holistically, being prepared, recognize that we can never rest on our laurels. When you get a win, it's great. Celebrate a little bit, make sure the team knows that they're appreciated and valued, and let membership know, hey, we won. We beat the regulators. We beat the legislators. They were wrong. But never take your foot off the gas and be transparent. Be transparent. Let people know continually. Like next week in the office in DC, I have 2 events. We're constantly putting the product and information in front of policymakers and decision makers.
So I'm sorry to be long-winded, guys. I just got one other question. Now, do you feel like this started kind of after 9/11, because that's when all kinds of smoking rules kind of changed, because they even changed in New York City where you weren't able to smoke in bars anymore.
They really started the origin of this in at least in the United States was limited. They were trying to eliminate smoking from airplanes. And that was, but ultimately it's always been about prohibition of the product. If you look at these generational smoking bans, they want to phase out the ability for people, even when they're 21 and over, to buy this product. And not just this product, but any nicotine or smoking product. And, as a fundamental freedom aside, like if unelected, and this is the instance of Massachusetts, you have public health boards. These are not elected officials. These are bureaucrats that are making decisions, taking away, rights and liberties of legal age persons. And to me, that's a problem. What are they going to take away next? Caffeine has been on the chopping block, alcohol, gambling, the so-called vice industry. And it's like, all right, the morality police of the Massachusetts local public health boards, they shouldn't be dictating how we live our lives. Like, if you don't like cigars, then don't go to a cigar bar. If you don't like smoke, then don't open a smoking friendly business. But I fundamentally believe in the ability of the free choice of consumers to make those decisions, and the business owners. There's a lot of places that you'll go that will be no smoking. But if you want to be a lawful business owner that sells to persons 21 and over, and have a barber shop that allows smoking, allow a restaurant, have a licensing scheme that is easy to understand and you can process, and let people make their decisions. Like, ultimately, there's consequences to any actions in consumption. If I ate, 10 Big Macs a day, that's not good for my public health, and I'm accountable for those consequences. Just like I'm accountable if I make the decision to enjoy a cigar or not.
Right.
Facts.
I agree. And so we have a cigar question. Shout out to RJL in the building. Shout out to my brother, man. He wants to know, what is your favorite cigar at the moment and favorite Vitolas?
So I love the Padron 1926. I mean, honestly, the Maduro, if I'm stuck on a desert island, that's the cigar that I want to have an abundance of. I am a big Padron fan. And I'm also a big Rocky Patel fan. Like, I think Rocky, some of the stuff, especially his recent releases, his company has exploded. He's been incredibly successful with bargain cigars, but now he's also had some really high level cigars like the 60, the Emerald, the Gold Label, the 30-year. I mean, everything that has been out, like, those to me are staple cigars. That's what I'm buying. But typically when I go to a cigar lounge, and I just went to 7 in Portland, Oregon, doing membership visits. I spent 24 hours in Portland, Oregon. I will buy the house exclusive, to what the retail exclusive. I will buy something new, and then I will buy a staple cigar. So it might be a Rocky Patel, it might be a Padron. I also really like Oliva, Plasencia. I mean, fortunately for all of us, there aren't too many bad cigars out there, and the boutiques are really creative. You mentioned Stoic. Stoic, won the best small booth at our trade show.
Yeah.
The creativity with the marketing and the packaging and the stories and all of that. I mean, you can find different cigars that tell incredible stories. I mean, I'm very close friends with John Adams from Liberty Cigars. He's doing these America 250 humidors that, have for each signer of the Declaration of Independence. And he has cigars that talk about battles in American history. And that to me is the beauty of this industry, is like you have staple brands, but you also, because of the wins that PCA was a participant in, CAA and CRA, we're able to see new products come up, and the creativity, whether it's in the blend or the packaging, we're in a cigar renaissance right now.
Yes,
I agree. I definitely agree. So I have a quick question for you, and I got a few questions that I wanted to ask you. So I want to talk to you real quick about the state of the industry, in your opinion. Um, so the question I have is, what is the overall health of the premium cigar industry right now, in your opinion?
Very strong in the United States. I mean, we have some challenges in the states that I mentioned before, but you have growth. You know, you have 3 to 5% every year new stores. That's net. You know, you'll have some that close, you'll have new ones open. You're seeing the loosening of some of the indoor smoking bans in Midwest states. You're seeing a proliferation of cigar-friendly hospitality businesses. You know, a lot of places with outdoor patios in states like Florida, Texas, Arizona. You know, the markets in certain cities, like you cannot go to in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the Phoenix Scottsdale area, or the Atlanta area and go to all the cigar lounges in like a week. I mean, there's so many there. You see some emerging other cities like Nashville, Tennessee. I mean, the Miami area is a behemoth in itself. So like the U.S. cigar industry is incredibly strong, which is the indicator. I mean, we are, you know, the rest of the world does what the United States does in cigars. You know, we have some challenges with the tariff situation in prices. And like we want to, I mentioned, you know, make sure that it's still a subtle luxury. Unfortunately, there are brands out there that have been very protective of that segment of the market where they have good $8 cigars, especially in states like New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, and Florida that don't have an OTP tax. But, you know, overall, we are in a much better position than we were 5 years ago. Like 5 years ago, I was worried we were staring under the barrel of draconian regulations and bad legislation. And like you had, you know, a dip in sales and imports here, you know, and I'm talking to retailers from different parts of the country every week. Most people are up or flat from last year, and last year was a very strong year. The year before was a very strong year. I think that, you know, there's a lot of potential for people, and especially in the boutique space. You know, you're seeing some people, some brands that were considered boutique now emerging into, you know, kind of generalized. They're getting bigger, and not to say that, you know, there's some companies that want to maintain, you know, quality control and only sell X number of cigars. And I can appreciate that as well. So like you have a lot of variety to choose from. And like, I can't tell you this year, I don't think I've smoked a bad cigar, whether it's construction, you know, humidification, and that's a testament to the retailer and the manufacturer. They're both part of that process in ensuring that, you know, and I'm going to a lot of these places. You would think that I would have some horror stories of, you know, canoeing cigars and things messed up. You know, I saw more of that 5 years ago. So like overall, I'm very positive, you know, glass half full related to the industry. I think international, there's a lot of challenges, and our partners are doing a good job with some of the more challenging issues that they're facing. And we're sharing information. Right now, the cigar industry is more connected than it's ever been before. You know, I talked to my counterpart who runs the European Cigar Manufacturers Association, at least once or twice a week. You know, we're sharing information and comparing notes, because if something happens over there, it's going to come over to the States at some point. So the more that we can work together and kind of strategize, the better.
Right. And I totally agree with that. And I gotta ask this other question, because you have and Darshan, I'm gonna get to Darshan's question in just a minute, but I gotta ask, what, as far as like these anti-tobacco platforms, as such as the platform that we're on right now, what is anything being constructed to where maybe, let's just, for an example, YouTube, right? So like how YouTube is really cracked down on showing cigars, like as you're reviewing them, you can no longer do that unless you'll get penalized for it. It's something being worked out.
Smoking it,
or if you get seen smoking it, Now, when it comes to doing a live stream, it's kind of like, they kind of let it, unless like showing it like right at the beginning or whatever on a live stream, then you won't get penalized for it. But
in the first, and the way YouTube works is that after the first 10 minutes, you're good. So like in the first 10 minutes, that's when their system is watching stuff. And after the first 10 minutes, the first 10-15 minutes, you're pretty much good.
Yeah. So like my question to it is anything being worked out, constructed to where, maybe you have these, because like it's a lot of content creators that, as far as when it comes to cigar media, I think that we're really the most misunderstood niche of all time, because they don't, people really look at it, oh, well, they're smoking cigars, they're trying to sell cigars to kids and whatever, and we're not. So I think it is. I know there's a fight going on, but I would just like to know, is like, what's going on when it pertains to these platforms, and what's being worked out.
So it's difficult because it's private terms and services of companies. It's not an elected official. So a lot of times we will put pressure through elected officials to these private companies saying, hey, you're basically going against free speech,
right.
And that's kind of the pushback there. But one of the things that we've been doing with certain private companies in kind of the adjacent space is signing partnership deals with them as the association, so that we're ensuring the accessibility to those platforms. One of example I'll give you is Eventbrite. So we were worried that, Eventbrite might platform cigar events. So, we signed a partnership with Eventbrite. So that's part of our contract with them. But as it comes to social media, it's challenging. The PCA as an association, and we are talking about advocacy initiatives related to cigars. They don't allow us to advertise. They don't allow us to, you have the block on the YouTube side of things. So there's restrictions, and it took us 3 months to get approval to have our app on the App Store for the trade show. And that's just showing people where the booths are and all of that. It's not, really promoting anything about the act of smoking or anything of that nature. So we see it, we engage where we can. But if you're signing the terms and services of use of these platforms, you're basically relinquishing a lot of your rights that you have there. You're going on their thing. So, I know a lot of, cigar media, some of them have created their own ecosystems. I know Cigar Dojo has done a really good job with that. And that's where some people are trending, we try to facilitate those things. There's Cigar Social. There's a lot of different platforms that are specific to the industry, and we encourage that to kind of but if you're trying to be in the mainstream, you want to be on these platforms in some way. So continually we engage. They all have government affairs folks. since we're very retail forward, I spend a lot of the private sector time working with like payment processors to make sure that side of things, they don't shut the industry down, or communications tools. We've had to deal a lot with like point of sale systems sending text messages, to customers. They try to block that. So we've spent a lot of time engaging on that front.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. And shout out to Alex Glares in the building, man. Shout out to AG Cigars. Doing a fantastic job, man. Doing a fantastic job with your stuff. Love you, Alex. We appreciate you, man. Shout out to you in the building, man.
That kind of brings. So I forgot. I know Darshawn had a question, so go ahead. I'll go ahead.
So Darshawn's question is this. He said, will you guys ever consider bringing PCA to Cleveland, Ohio, like the old tobacco trade shows?
Yeah, Cleveland, I'm from Erie, Pennsylvania. A lot of times I fly into Cleveland, Ohio to go to Erie. Unfortunately, Ohio is not a very tobacco friendly state. They have a lot of challenges there. And Cleveland itself, for a major city, there's not a ton of options there to smoke. So in terms of trade show right now, and look, I don't sugarcoat things. That's not in the works. Now, smaller events, that's always a possibility. We want to make sure that we have a robust industry in, Ohio in general, whether it be Cleveland or Columbus or other cities, Cincinnati. But right now, the infrastructure to support the trade show is not there in Cleveland.
Understandable. Go ahead, Steve-O.
Yeah. So I just said, we said that we would ask because we did have Vance on the last time. So one thing that was brought up is like for like smaller companies that that are just now starting the boutiques, like the Alex Galez, the Stoic cigar brands like that, when they're starting off, like they're getting into PCA. Like, is there any plans to have like a smaller barrier of entry, because they don't have like the war chest that a Fuente or My Father or a bigger brand like Olivia would have, a Drew Estate. So was there any plan on maybe making a lower a point of entry for the newer brands?
So I am working, and it's been tough to get the liquor industry to commit, but PCA owns the trademark for Cigar Bar Expo. That's something that I had our team go forward on. And ideally, we would have a B2B, business-to-business event that was half cigars, half spirits. So not for consumers, but business-to-business. And that would be pre-cut, smaller stands that it would be a low rate where anybody first come, first serve. We have 40 different installations. People aren't building their own booths. This is your stand. You get to bring your cigars. You get to interact with the cigar bar owners. So that's something that I think trying to level the playing field a little bit more would be cool. We're in talks with a big liquor company right now, and also we have a venue that is interested in hosting it in Miami, Florida, but it's really getting the liquor installation to commit to it, because I think it would be awesome to have both of those entities together and something a little bit different. Like, I know that Cigar Aficionado does a great job with the consumer side of that, of bringing spirits and cigars together. And a lot of media outlets or retailers do those types of things, but there isn't really one in the business to business side of things. And that's my plan. But if we were to do it, it would not be, half the hall would be one company. It would just be every company. So you could have Stoic in the same size booth as Rocky or Padron or whoever would want to participate. But, overall, I'm trying to build a menu of options for our membership or our constituencies. So when we announced the PCA Connect Asia, people were like, well, PCA is asking us to go to Asia. Absolutely not. We're giving you people the option if they want to enter the Asian market. Here's a way to do it. And we have, in the matter of 3 days, 14 events where you can connect with the major importers, retailers in that market segment. And like for that, our sponsorship is $1,500 to participate, our lowest level for it. So I think our highest level is $5,000. So like, if you want to get involved in something like that, we're creating more accessible things. The trade show is intimidating. A lot of times when I meet with newer brands, they'll say, oh, we were thinking about doing this sponsorship that's $15,000. And I tell them, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Do this one that's $3,000 this year. And I want to build relationships that are long-standing. I don't want $15,000 one year and then never see that person again. I would rather work and build something that's in line with their business interest and their goals. And that, I think that's the difference with our team, Lisa Sigler and Maria, who run our membership programs. We turn away sponsorship, which is crazy to think. They weren't doing that under previous iterations of the association. It was kind of like, all right, if you can sign this, and it's proven to be effective. In 2019, for our trade show, we had $75,000 in sponsorship. Last year, we had $250,000. This year, we had over $400,000 in sponsorship. So it's been growing because we've been right sizing it, and we've been creating smaller options where people can get involved.
That's cool, man. So I gotta ask for all my cigar media, because there's a lot of cigar media that they want to join PCA. So I have a question. Maybe maybe not now, but sometime in the future, will there be an option for cigar media? Like, how you have the Drew Estates, they all have their booths as well. Is there any way that we can have, like, just to say, if it just as an option for cigar media, they can also have their own booth as well, to where they can set up something. It don't have to be like super big, because you have a lot of cigar reviewers that go, and then also you have cigar podcasts that go as well. I think that would be super cool, as well for, cigar media, if they had like a little booth to where they can invite, have like, make it like a professional setting instead of them just standing up and doing. I mean, which that's cool too. But I'm just saying, just if that's I'm just kind of throwing ideas out there. I don't know if that's
so it exists right now. So we have a room that's available for the media. However, in terms of like booking booths, Half Wheel has a booth every year. They pay for a stand. They exhibit. Bovida this year had set up a podcast studio as well. So yes, cigar media can definitely book space. And then we have the free space available with the cigar room. So, media, what I encourage people to do, like, we have the credentialing for the trade show, and some people want to support the association. We have our alliance membership that is also applicable to cigar media. So if they, want to support, a lot of them do the $99. So, that helps the fight. That goes directly to our advocacy.
Okay, that's cool. So, okay, that's cool. Go ahead.
So I have a question when it comes to these battles, because a lot of politicians smoke cigars.
That's true.
Actually, and there's one guy in Washington. Every time he leaves,
he walks in the building. He walks in the building with a cigar in his mouth.
Yep.
He's been to our office. Troy Nels, I know him well. So there's a congressional cigar caucus. There's 60 members as part of that. We do a quarterly event series, and we actually smoke cigars on the speaker's balcony, the Speaker of the House that overlooks the National Mall. So, we do engage with a lot of members of Congress, House, Senate, Democrat, Republican. We do a lot of events. We had one I think there were 3 members of Congress, I want to say 2 weeks ago at our office. And then I recently did one I attended with Carlito Fuente at the Dominican Embassy, where there were like a dozen members of Congress. So like it is prevalent where you have champions that are supporters or enthusiasts. You know, sometimes it is a challenge, though. Just because they're a cigar consumer or smoker doesn't mean they're going to be with us on all the issues. So like we have, that's where we have to educate them and let them know, like, hey, this might seem like a good idea and you're trying to target this, but it's actually hurting us. So, you know, we've had to have some tough conversations with a lot of our key supporters around the tariff discussion lately.
You're on mute.
How do we attack these states as far as New York and California? Just on a sense of, you know, like there has to be a way to show the benefit and also the profit margin that can be made if they increase their tobacco sales. Like if you lower your tobacco tax, you'll be able to make this much instead of this much.
Yep, and we've done that. So what we did last year, along with the Cigar Association of America, the association invested close to $100,000 in research where we have all of that data. So I can tell you exactly what the state would make if they were to lower their taxes or implement a tax cap. And it's proven to be effective in getting a lot of states to reconsider tax increases or lower theirs or insert a cap. So we're protecting those caps. A lot of them are, 50-cent tax caps. Like this next cycle, we're going to have to defend the tax cap in Louisiana and defend the tax cap in Nevada. And those studies are critical in how we approach the advocacy campaigns related to that.
Because you had to me, and this is in just my opinion, both those states are just ran backwards when it comes to being able to make money. They attack areas where there could be profit increase. They attack those areas, and the places where there's no money coming in from, they let do whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Let me see. No, go ahead.
No, that was really it. Because just off the strength of not everybody can afford paying $17 for a cigar for a 10. Because when I go to Casa de Monte Cristo on 62nd Street, I can't go and get a $15-$20 cigar because that $15 is going to be a $50 cigar.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of it, I think they want to reduce purchasing consumption. They want to phase that out. Some of these policymakers, it isn't about getting the tax revenue. It's about getting people to quit smoking cigars or quit smoking products in general. What they fail to recognize is that, ultimately people are going to get the products that they want, and they're going to do it either online or they're going to buy from a more tax friendly state. They're only hurting their local population and that tax base, because New York, they lose a ton of money to the state of Pennsylvania every year because of their high taxes.
And also too, marijuana is legal in New York City, and that was banned forever, and now look how much money they're making off of this.
Yeah,
they're making hundreds of millions of dollars a year just off of dispensaries.
For sure.
So and they're popping up everywhere. I work on 41st Street in Manhattan, and the old I'm about to say Ferry Otego, but the old Fred, what building was it that Hearst took over? What company was it?
Nat Sherman.
Nat Sherman, yep.
Yeah, Nat Sherman.
So the Nat Sherman building is now a dispensary now.
Mm-hmm.
and it's packed. Like that place is always packed. It's one of those. It's just one of those things where it's like you want to talk about New York City going broke, but there's a reason why New York City's going broke. So that's just my 2 cents on it. Oh, Fred, you got a question for us?
So yeah. I had a quick question. So my question is looking 5 years from now, what are the biggest challenges facing premium cigars over the next 5 years?
I think we discussed a lot of them. I think we discussed a lot of them already. Generational smoking bans, private sector issues. I think another thing will be the access to certain markets. I think with some of the international relations that are going on right now, like there's some unknowns, like what's going to happen with Cuba right now. How is that going to affect the overall market? Are people going to be able to get Cuban tobacco? Are people going to be able to get the farms and factories payments back from things that have been taken from their families? There's a lot of questions on the international stage like that. And then, the overall, I think, smoking indoors and even outdoors. Now, a lot of these localities are saying you can't smoke in a park. You can't smoke, 25 feet from the building. You can't, a lot of that stuff, even if they pass them, it's very difficult to enforce. Not a lot of police officers want to badger people for smoking a cigar as they're walking across outdoors. Like, to me, that's insane. Like, you should be able to smoke outside. Like, look, if there's a place where, an ashtray or somewhere where I can put my cigar, like, I want to be a responsible citizen at the end of the day. But like, it's ludicrous. Like, even when I see a lot of those no smoking things outside, I'm like, all right, give me, I kind of want the ticket. I really almost want to be like, all right, I'm fighting the fight, because it's so stupid to me. Like, like that's goofy. Like, not being able to smoke outside or smoke on private property. Like, unfortunately, my apartment complex, they, up until like, I want to say 3 years ago, they let you smoke in your apartment. So I had rabbit airs. I had ventilation. It wasn't bothering my neighbors, any of that stuff. Then they went non-smoking in the entire building. You're not allowed to smoke in the courtyard, not allowed to smoke on the roof. I have to go outside of the complex itself. And like, where I live in Navy Yard near the Capitol, it's a rougher area. So like, when I'm having a smoke, 10:30 at night, I see rats running across there, and I'm like, man, this isn't an ideal situation. So like tonight I'm at the Clayton in DC right now, enjoying a cigar. And like, fortunately we have some options here, but like, I like enjoying cigars outside, especially when the weather's good.
Yes. Yeah. So that's for sure.
So Joshua, I got one question for you. Now I just want to tap into Europe real quick. So, everybody talks about like Europe, like Germany is the hardest one to get into. And then from Germany, you can kind of bounce from country to country. So, I understand like the US, like I understand just like the US, like Europe is humongous. But is there any way to kind of get like a governing body of Europe, so this way it's much easier for companies to get in
there? So in terms of accessing the market, is what
in a sense, yeah.
So, in Germany, they have Intertobacco, a great trade show. That's really good option for people wanting to enter the European market. I actually think that the UK, in terms of entering the market, is a little more challenging. That in Spain. Germany still has a robust retail base. The UK is very refined. It's the most refined market. you have, you got to, some of these places you have to wear a suit and tie going to the lounge, and you have people with white gloves on lighting your cigar and cutting your cigar. So, in terms of market access, my advice to people in Europe is to engage with ECMA, and support them from the advocacy perspective, and attend the Intertobacco trade show. Like if I was on that side of the business, that's what I would be doing. And then, it's different because you work through importers. So getting the right importer that will push your product along with other brands. And a lot of times the importer is a retailer as well. So that's where you have to give it some time and energy. So you have certain brands that do really well in markets that they've spent some time in, and and it's like anything in the US. I mentioned going to Portland, Oregon. I always ask, what's your top seller? I was shocked at some of the top sellers that people were saying, and it's because those companies took the time to go to Portland, Oregon. If you're going to go and let's say you get an account in one of the Scandinavian countries like Norway. If you don't go to Norway and you just open the account, you're not going to be able to sell the cigars. People want to meet the company representatives, whether it's a rep or the owner. They want to hear the story. They want to learn about the cigars. And at the end of the day, the online and a lot of the video stuff is great, but having an in-person session is still the number one way of building brand loyalty with consumers.
We got a question here from John Thomas, and correct me if I'm wrong, John, on your question, because I know he put Cubans down here. He said, I got a question. Are you going to work against the ban of choosing cigars in the United States? I think he's talking about pertaining to Cubans.
So for Cuban cigars, I mean, right now it's the prevailing policy. We're engaging on the international front and seeing what's happening. I mean, honestly, it's because it's such an national security issue. It's really beyond the cigar industry. So we have been conversing with a lot of our manufacturing partners like CRA, CAA, and preparing for what comes next. You also have to unpack it. You have, brand owners that have had their farms and factories taken away from the Cuban government. That's an issue. There's trademark issues with brands that have U.S. trademarks and then also have Cuban names. That's part of the equation. And then, if Cuban cigars enter the market, there will probably be a bit of a boom. People, it's kind of being able to bite off the forbidden fruit, so to speak. And there's an allure to it of not being, when people travel, I would love to know the statistic, how many American citizens buy Cuban cigars when they travel, because I think that's a huge part of the overall market, because we know in terms of the consumer market, we are the largest market by far. But you also want to make sure that the brands that have been within the United States, the Dominican, Nicaraguan, Honduran brands, they know that they can stack up against a lot of the Cuban cigars currently. I think a lot of those folks want to utilize Cuban tobacco in the future with some of their blends. So there's a multitude of factors involved in this, and some of them at the international stage between the U.S. and Cuban government is quite frankly beyond our pay grade.
Understandable, definitely understandable with that, man.
I just I would be worried about the quality control when it comes to Cuba. That's the only thing I would be worried about. Just as far as them being able to produce enough cigars for the U.S. market, that would be my only concern.
Well, they can't produce enough cigars for the market currently. I mean, in the international market, and if things were to normalize over there, and you have not government controlled factories, I mean, you could assume that the innovations that have been occurring in Nicaragua and Honduras and Dominican Republic and Costa Rica and other countries, they would come to Cuba, and that quality control would improve a little bit.
Yeah. So how closely do you guys work with like the CRA and places like that?
We work infinitely well with them. I'm on calls with them, every week. Their team is phenomenal. We were compatriots in those lawsuits that I referenced with Cigar Rights of America. There's a lot of crossover. I mean, PCA, there's, 3 trade organizations that cover cigars. In the last 2 years, and this is not me being, taking over the role. We were on this trajectory with my predecessor, but PCA has become the largest organization in terms of membership and also in revenue. So, we're kind of the repository of things. We have the pulse of what's going on because our membership includes retailers and manufacturers, and we bring everyone together at the Super Bowl, which is our trade show. So we work well with the CRA as well as the CAA, even the National Association of Tobacco Outlets. They focus on a lot of the other product categories. But as I mentioned, my focus is on promoting premium cigars, and I need to be having those conversations with all stakeholders that have a vested interest in the premium cigar market.
Okay. And just real quick, I may have to jump off in just a little bit. I'm watching if you see me keep looking out there, I can see a storm cloud coming, so I may have to make a dash on my stuff to get soaked.
So, so I have a question for you, Josh, just about your upbringing. Were you always attracted to politics, ever since high school?
Not really. I mean, it kind of, I was involved in mock trial, Model UN. I enjoyed public speaking and kind of the leadership and you go through life transitions too. I think I went through a real historical phase where I was looking at history, and that's what I wanted to do. And then I had mentors that were really strong in political science, so I deviated towards that. And I'll be honest now, I've done lobbying for 13 years, and I've kind of pivoted now. Lobbying is part of what I do, and it's what I studied to do. It's what I enjoy. And I like fighting for the industry, but there's also different ways to do that, and building the association and partnerships and programs rather than, fighting against things all the time. I enjoy that. So I'm in a bit of a transition to more of the hospitality side of things. And that's been my interest now of building things up in a very positive way versus being reactionary and always fighting things. So that's, to me, education is our top tool in advocacy, but it's more forward thinking and it's more proactive than reactionary.
Okay. So all right. Now I gotta ask you about the PCA. Oh, my bad. I'm gonna ask you another question.
I was just gonna stay on that real quick because go ahead. Like you were saying, you were growing up, you're a big history buff. So who was your guy that you loved that you loved to read about, and just really man, he was a real badass, or he was just a philosopher.
Yeah, there's a lot of historical figures. I mean, I'm a huge Winston Churchill fan.
I'm listening to his audio book right now.
Yeah,
because of Vance.
I mean, he's quintessential. I mean, if anyone symbolized a cigar, it was him. I mean, President Grant was also. That's where the term lobbying actually originated. The Willard Hotel, which I'm 4 blocks away from right now. President Grant would sit in the lobby and smoke cigars and drink apple brandy, and people would ask for political favors or things. That's where the term was popularized. So when I celebrated 10 years lobbying, I released a cigar called The Lobbyist with Liberty Cigars that told that story. It was a gift cigar, and I released an apple brandy. We had a party for it, and it was, really cool. But historical figures wise, like, I like people that are flawed, and certainly, like, Churchill had flaws to him. Grant had flaws to him. I think even like figures like Napoleon Bonaparte are real interesting, in what were able to achieve, but certainly flawed, and had the reforms that he did on the political side. There's military history, but there's also civic history, and figures that kind of combine those are really intriguing, because some of them were really good at one area and not able at other areas. But like learning from history so that a lot of the bad parts of history don't repeat itself, I think is important. If you're going to be a student of politics, you want to understand history. Like, you can't understand politics of today unless you know where we came from. Mm-hmm. And you got to learn the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's a lot of blotches or things about history, even in the United States. I'm proud to be an American citizen. I'm proud of our country. 250th birthday. There's a lot of celebrations going on. I'm going to some of them, but there are also parts of our history that are terrible. And I think that you look at those, if you don't read that part of history and understand it, you're going to have similar problems repeat itself. So to me, history is the most important subject to study of all.
Yes,
man. That I'm gonna be honest with you, that's so refreshing to hear, because I'm a history teacher. So the importance of history I try to tell my students is, because a lot of them now, it's funny because this generation now looks at history as an elective. Like, I've been asked questions from students like, "Hey, do I have to come? You're in the 6th grade. Yes, you have to come to this class. Like, this is not college. You don't get the option to. This is not a hybrid class. Like, this is." No, you have to come to class. And a lot of them think that this is just like, oh, well, I just breeze through. But I'm like, if you don't understand the importance of history and where our country is based off of, and where the origins of our country and how we operated, especially how things have changed from then to now, like, you're going to forever be lost.
Yeah.
History is one of the most, is honestly, in my opinion, is the most important subject ever.
Well, you learn,
because without history, you would have never known where math came from.
Like, my thing about it is, when it comes to history, is that you would never know about the world in a sense. And, and the quote always is, like, history is always written by the victors.
Yep.
But even in that sense, you would never know. Like, look at the Greeks. Some of the greatest storytellers ever, like, you look at those stories, and these kids today, it's the most craziest thing, Fred, because, like, I'm throwing my son under the bus a little bit, but, like, like, they got all the World Cup stuff over here, and they got all the flags up, and I go, yo, what flag is that? I don't know. What flag is that? I don't know. And I'm like, yo, what are y'all?
It was foreign countries. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to know, like, every foreign country. 48 different countries. I just didn't know those ones.
Whatever.
48 different countries in the World Cup, by the way. 48 different countries.
Whatever.
So,
he's trying to defend himself
now. Looking at history, like, over the last 7 years, I've gotten to smoke cigars at some incredible venues, and, not just lounges, but all over the world. And, like, I mentioned one of the books that we commissioned is called Around the World in 80 Cigars. And Nick Hammond, he's a travel writer, cigar enthusiast. He's featuring, 10 lounges, 5 manufacturers, and he's doing one on the trade show, and then also the World Cigar Show in Dubai. And he talks about historical moments and like places where, he feels a sense of a deep feeling. So we sent him to Gettysburg. We took him near the Capitol to smoke a cigar when he was in DC. but so he's writing about it. I'm writing the foreword to this book, and I've had a couple cigar moments tied to history that you just get goosebumps. I went to Chartwell, where Churchill lived, and got to smoke a cigar in a London cab. The cab driver was 80 years old. He didn't care about the fines, and Edward and Eddie Sahakian gave me the Romeo and Julieta that Churchill smoked, the size cigar. So I smoked that cigar going to Chartwell. You see the airfields from the Battle of Britain all along there. One of the most incredible experiences. And then I think the one that takes the cake, my good friend worked for the Trump administration the first 4 years, and actually this latest term. And actually it was over the Biden administration. He was able to get us a tour to go to Camp David. And I had connected the gift shop, the people that managed the gift shop with Camp David, to produce a cigar and cigar accessories. So we go there, and we do like a 3-hour tour, incredible experience. And the Shangri-La bar had just been renovated. And the guy who was giving us the tour had said, like, look, you guys will be some of the first people to have a drink at the Shangri-La bar. The Biden family has not even had this experience yet because it was just renovated. And I said to him, like, sir, I don't mean to be rude, but would it be possible to have a cigar instead of a drink? And he said to me, he's like, I'll do one better for you, brother. Grab the cigars from the gift shop. I'm going to grab a bottle of Blue Label, and we're going to go somewhere special. And we went and we smoked a cigar and drank scotch where Churchill and FDR planned D-Day.
Nice.
Wow.
And like that to me, it doesn't get any better.
Wow. Those are moments. Those are like stories. Those are stories you tell the kids and the grandkids.
Yeah,
and it's crazy too, cause like history was like, when I went to boot camps, I was in the Navy. So when I went to boot camp, like that was like, we had classes with history, man. Like it was like, dang, it was like, man, we're going back to school for this. I mean, I thought it was in boot camp, we're supposed to be learning other things, but now like history, like even when you go up for like a sale of the quarter, sale of the year board. Like history is like, it is like it's gonna be a question, so you have to study it. If you don't study it, you're not getting that award. So
yeah, hang tight just a minute, y'all. For some reason, every time I gotta update. Oh no, my bad. I'll be right back. I gotta.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I know that most people, when they think of PCA, they always think of the trade show. That's like, they get excited for the trade show. So for you, like, how did this PCA come about? And in your eyes, what is like the most significant part that PCA plays for the cigar community?
Yeah, I think we've transitioned into really a 365 trade association. We have advocacy, membership, education, events. The pillar event is the trade show. When I took the job, the board that hired me said to me, you need to protect the trade show. That's your key responsibility. And, I think we've grown it. We've enhanced it. We've improved on it. We've listened to feedback, constructive feedback, criticism. We're not afraid. Like, people give me their opinions, and, I listen to them. We implement things on the fly. And it's important that we're responsive to our membership and the trends of the industry. I have a great respect for the legacy and tradition of the forebearers of this industry. It's been around. The association in 2033 will be 100 years old. And I told the board of directors when I was hired, I want to preside over the 100th anniversary. And I want to do a special event in Washington, D.C. They have the white parties like Pro Cigar does at their national monument. I want to do a party at the Washington Monument to celebrate our 100-year anniversary. And, so to me, I think it's the protection of the industry and the advancement of the industry is the most important role that we serve. And it's done through all of those different efforts. The trade show kind of sets the tone. Like if people have a bad trade show coming away, and I remember this, like it wasn't always sunshine and roses. Like the association went through turmoil even during my tenure, you know, when I started 7 years ago. And there was infighting and, you know, issues between different factions of the industry. And we have to be united. We have to work together, focus on the things that we agree on, because the anti-tobacco groups and the folks that want to see us go out of existence are the only ones that win when we're not working together, at least at some level. So I think we need to bridge people together. We need to ensure that there's some cohesion in the messaging of things, and we need to lead and be a proactive voice for the industry at large. And that's why, like, you know, I've never say no to interviews. I will want to make sure, you know, if we have people giving me this platform, I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful that you all are interested in the association, interested in what I have to say about the growth of the industry and our association. And if we can get folks to understand that and listen to that message, we're going to continue to be in a strong position. You know, I read and I watch a lot of the podcasts and listen to the podcasts and the comments, and like, you know, sometimes there's things that are negative about PCA, and like I'll respond to those and like and correct the record. So I'm very protective of the association and the industry, and that's something that it's 24/7. It's an all-encompassing part, and I view this as my mission. This is not a, you know, in lobbying, if I wanted to make a lot of money, I would have stayed in banking. To me, this is something that I actually care about, and it's a life mission and passion beyond the dollar.
So I have one question for you. Now, when you speak about the trade show, now have you ever thought about doing more than just the big Super Bowl and doing more one for the East Coast people, like you do one on the East and one on the West, and trying to do more shows to try to get more, you know, like, so because some people on the West Coast might not be able to make it or afford to be able to come to New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have the one big trade show as still the keystone of the industry, but we're doing a lot of small events, meet and greets, you know, kind of these road shows. I mentioned the potential of the Cigar Bar Expo, which would be a larger event, and we would try and rotate that with cities. You know, for larger events, there's limitations on the ability to smoke. So, you know, we now have with St. Louis the ability to smoke there, New Orleans and Vegas. And, you know, I think some other cities are looking at what St. Louis did, and I think that's great. You know, I'm going to go to St. Louis in July, and the person who spearheaded that, I'm giving him an advocacy award. That's what we want. We want more options. If we don't do a trade show in St. Louis, that's fine, but they're setting a spark, and we're going to do some type of activations in these cities that want to have us. So the short answer is yes, we're looking for smaller events to do things and partner. We're not reinventing the wheel. I think one of the things that shocks people when I tell them the PCA has 8 staff members. You know, we're not, you know, a massive organization, and we're doing all of these programs. So most of us wear 2 or 3 hats, and we've made a lot of inroads and had a lot of growth considering the limitations on human capital, budgets, things like that. We're in a strong position financially because we've saved, we've invested in the right areas of the association so we can tackle those future challenges. So, you know, I don't want to enter a market or do a project that's, you know, half-assed, so to speak. We want to make sure that we're investing properly, and that's not only in just a financial sense, but it's the time and human capital resources.
Now, I didn't know that PCA was that small of a group. You know, and for you 8 guys to do what you guys do is really amazing. You know, and you guys deserve all your flowers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You guys really deserve your flowers that you.
Yeah, because looking at the event, it would seem like there's like hundreds of you guys.
Yeah,
just 8.
You know,
that's
like
pretty,
for sure.
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, you know, like because this little group is telling the FDA, excuse my French, to go fuck themselves. You know. Like, seriously.
Listen, I'm sure Josh was thinking it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you a funny story. You know, I'm a big UFC fan, and I have the Conor McGregor suit. I was happy that he has his own cigar, and they exhibited it at the trade show this year. But I actually have the "Fuck You" Conor McGregor suit, the one that's
nice,
like small.
Nice. Yeah, with the
that's fire.
And I can neither confirm or deny that I wore that at an FDA Zoom session before.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, I like that. I like that.
Hey,
so Alex Bell's got a question,
Now, I just wanted to ask him, what's your picks for tomorrow?
So, honestly, tomorrow, I think that Taporia is going to win. That was the one that I was really looking at.
He's a monster. And he just got divorced, so he's going to be even more madder.
I like Sean O'Malley also. I've seen him fight before, so I'm hoping he kind of, rebounds a little bit after a couple losses. So those are the two that I'll be watching. But, I like a lot of the fighters that have kind of retired or are like past their prime, like Nate Diaz, Tony Ferguson, Jorge Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal might be my favorite fighter.
Tony Ferguson had it tough because every time that he was in his prime and ready to win the belt, he got injured.
Yeah,
and it can only be an act of God because of the fact that how do you trip and blow your knee out?
Yeah, and the July 11th McGregor fight, that to me is going to be insane. I've seen McGregor fight twice, and like the style, the swagger, like when he entered the cigar market, I was so excited. And my staff make fun of me because they're like, you're kind of a fanboy, and I'm like, well, yeah, it's the aura. It's kind of the if you listen to the trash talking, like he's a professional trash talker. Too.
Yeah.
Like that, you just like how on the fly does he rehearse that? Like,
You know what? He might have a guy like Ali.
What the fuck you talking about?
Yeah, he's a natural showman. Like,
yeah,
and he's like really spurred. Like, I mean, everybody. There's so many like what's his name, Kobe Covington, that tried to use his stick. It's like you're not Connor. You're not gonna do it. So
like,
this
the thing
stop.
is the Irish are fighting people. Like if you have to fight an Irishman, just pack a lunch. It's the same thing when you have to fight a Mexican. Pack a lunch. You're gonna be in for a long day. Because for some reason they're ahead or even a Pacific Islander. And trust me, I know firsthand what it feels like to get run over by a Pacific Islander. So like their bones are different.
And his McGregor cigar is really good. I mean, the 2 releases that he had at the show this year, I tried both of them, and I mean, they were really good cigars. His team is fantastic too. I love working with them. David, it was great to see them enter the market. We have strong celebrities that are producing good cigars that are also highlighting and increasing the awareness. I mean, Marlon Wayne's another person who did an incredible job at the trade show this year. I mean, everyone knows Guy Fieri. James Hetfield with Metallica. There's going to be some new celebrities that are also entering the market.
Well, for sure. The knuckle sandwich just really took the market by storm. And it really put a stamp on all right, well, this celebrity is not here for just a one-time thing. I think he probably has 5 or 6 cigars now off the knuckle sandwich line.
Yeah. and he invested in a factory with Eric Espinoza. And Eric is another staple. I mean, Eric is a man of his word. Like, he's been our banner sponsor for our opening party every year. And, you know, I love going to his operation in Florida and having the pastelitos, the Cuban like breakfast things. And he's always in there. Like, he's somebody that is just a character. I mean, he's always in there playing dominoes, like with the mayor. Every time I go in there, and they're Cuban coffee, smoking cigars, and I'm like, you know what? That's a badass there.
Yeah.
I love the whole Espinoza team, man. The whole team is amazing guys.
Yeah.
Like we had Hector on the show.
Hector, Jack.
Yeah. Hector's cool. Even though Hector's not answering my text every time I talk about his Mets, so he just leaves me on red now. Like, I'm not answering you.
Josh, Alex Glaze has a question. He wanted to know. He said, Josh, what do you think about podcasts like this and others? He said they're doing a lot for the cigar industry and sometimes even more journalism than some well-known media outlets. And he said, thanks for what you do.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the cigar media. You know, I try to make as welcoming of an atmosphere. You know, I think journalism, asking tough questions, holding us accountable as an association are important, improving, giving feedback. You know, I want to see more podcasts and more media, you know, to highlight what the industry is doing. And, you know, we've had a steady increase during my tenure of cigar media have access to the trade show. You know, we do it if you're taking an interest and taking time, and like we screen it, because we don't want, you know, just somebody with their phone saying that they're cigar media, but people that are doing reviews and taking the time, doing research, asking, you know, quality questions like you all do. That's what we want. You know, like it's weird. Like, I don't, sometimes people have this adversarial viewpoint of the media, and it's like, not me at all. Like, I love it. You know, I used to interview, and when I was in grad school, I was in kind of the media realm, but my interviews were of DJs, electronic music. So I did that for 3 or 4 years. And, you know, so I have a respect for media in general.
Yeah. Man, I think it's, you know, as far, I think it's only going to get more, I think it's going to get even bigger when it comes to, because I think, you know, podcasts, if you think about it, a lot of people now, they watch TV, but, you know, I think that's why, you know, if you look at Michael Irvin, his podcast is, you know, he has his own podcast now, but it's on Netflix. They're trying to draw that media attention back towards people watching TV, which, because a lot of people, you know, they do a podcast, they're streaming, or, you know, doing a live like we're doing now on YouTube. So a lot of people, they love these interactions like this, and I think it's only going to get bigger. Because a lot of people, it's so easy now. It's very, very easy. Now the work you put into it, you know, it's a lot of work that goes into it. It's a lot of work that goes into it, but it's easy to start. You just have to know what you're going to do, what your niche is, and all that other good stuff. Which, you know, I've been asked before, you know, like with people that still, you know, that they'll watch one of my old cigar reviews, like, hey man, I want to do cigar reviews. Oh, go ahead, do it. More, like, the more the merrier. Do it. We need it. We definitely need it. So go ahead. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and get it started. And I think, you know, and I gotta go back to it, because you said it's 8 of you doing such a, man, y'all are really, and I'm just like Steven. I thought it was like 20, 25, 30 people. You know, I'm thinking that, you know, it's like y'all have, like, in the meeting room, it's like 15 to 20 people in this meeting room. All right, let's figure out what we're gonna do, you know, for next year's PCA. But knowing that you just said it's 8 of you doing this, and you guys wear multiple hats, that I like. Again, we have to give you your flowers for that, because we, you know, we're just on the outside looking in. So, you know, we don't know this, And so I think that's really important for, for people to know, like, man, you got 8 people doing something humongous for the cigar industry and continuing to fight the good fight for us on our behalf. And it's because I know it gets stressful. I know it gets stressful, like these fights, especially with FDA. I feel like it's like a never ending thing when it comes to when it comes to it's like it's always something. It's like, and I wonder, and I think about this sometimes. I'm like, I wonder how many members of the FDA smoke cigars.
Oh, there were a couple people that we would talk about it, and I had a couple of FDA meetings, and Steve Zangle of Las Cayetos, who passed away, he and I went to an FDA meeting, and I remember smoking in the parking lot of the FDA, and we went there, and everyone knew that we were like cigar industry people. The scowls that we got, we ate lunch alone at this conference, and it was very awkward and eerie over there. So there's challenges with anything, but I will tell you, in this role, and I've been with 4 associations in my career, it's the best one, it's the best industry, it's a family, and the longer you're in it, the better it gets. I have gotten to see now, I'm in a weird period where I've worked in the, 7 years ago, I was working with a lot of the legends of the industry, and now their sons and daughters are starting to get involved in the business. And I am, they're a little younger than I am, but their age gap isn't so vast. So I've gotten to really get to know a lot of them as well. And to me, I'm not only protecting the businesses and the workers and the retail side and the workers in the countries, but I'm also protecting these businesses for the next generation. And you're also seeing that at the retail side, where sons and daughters are taking on the businesses to see it continue. And that's important. That is an important part of the association's history. And I want to make sure that, in the course of the association's history, that I'm a force for positive change. Our team is a force for positive change in the association at large.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are definitely, helping, I know they just had a Titans of Tobacco, Tobacconist of Greenwich. And I mean, and that's many generations of tobacco in one spot. I mean, because of the work that you guys do, man, it's like they're able to continue that legacy and pass that on to their kids. So that's a pretty commendable thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Josh, I have a question for you.
It is.
When you don't have your PCA hat on, what do you do to decompress and really just relax and to get away from things? Like do you have any hobbies outside of kicking FDA's ass, or just
So a couple hobbies. I'm a big sports fan. Hockey, Formula One, and UFC. So I go to the Miami Grand Prix. I've gone the past 5 years, and that's always a fun time. And then, I'm in the hospitality space. So I go to the restaurants, I smoke cigars with my friends. After we finish the podcast, I got 3, my dad and 2 friends. We're going to smoke cigars and just catch up.
Nice.
And, so that, and, I teach, I'm taking the classes to get my doctorate. So I read a lot. And then travel, a lot of personal travel too. And I always tack on cigar components to the personal travel, but right before my 35th birthday this year, I'm going to Ibiza. So I mentioned I like the DJs, the house music. So I'm going to see Swedish House Mafia in Ibiza.
Nice.
So that will be.
They're back together. Last time I heard, they broke up. They break up every 2 years.
They're back together. Or at least, hopefully, they're for that show.
Is it? Well, I used to be a bouncer at a nightclub called Pasha in New York City.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I was pretty much a babysitter. like working that portion. Like we're talking about at least 11,000 people every weekend. Like we had like David Guetta come there. We had the guys that made the party rocket anthem when they were hot back in 2010. I did, like it was there for 10 years. Once Lisa was up, they pretty much like, no, you guys are out of here. But like every weekend, like it was like insanity. You know, but you're from Ewing, Pennsylvania?
I'm from Erie, Pennsylvania.
Erie, Pennsylvania. Okay, so I take it you're a Penguins fan.
No, I'm a Bills and Sabres fan.
Okay.
How'd that happen?
So Erie is an hour from Buffalo, 2.5 from Pittsburgh, and about an hour and a half from Cleveland. So
okay,
I always fly into Cleveland or Buffalo to go back home.
Okay. Like those poor Sabres. Well, you're a poor Sabre fan because like you
poor
guys
Sabres fan. The Bills, you know, we're wasting Josh Allen. You know, it's fun.
you know what? We had Andre Smith. He played for the Bills. He was he was talking to us. It was back in February, I think.
Mm-hmm.
When we had him on the show, and it was really cool for someone that played with Josh that really gave us some insight on Josh, man. And he said he was a really, really, really cool dude. And so it's just cool. Like you're a Bills fan.
The crazy thing is that he said the throws he made in practice were more impressive than any throw he made in the game. They say that he was throwing the ball like 70 yards, like on a dime, in practice. And everybody's just like, what the hell just happened? Like but Josh is gonna be wasted. Like it's Buffalo, man. Four straight Super Bowls. They lost those. It's just an unlucky town, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know. They may look up. They may look up like the Knicks are right now.
Listen. Right now, that the Knicks are touched by the basketball gods right now. Like I have never, like Fred. I was at work about to cry. I was like, everybody at my job was like, "What's wrong?" Because I knew if they lost that game, the series was over. Like it was like if we lost that game, San Antonio was gonna win it in 6 or 7. So like the fact that at halftime they were down 29, and I'm sitting here like we blew it. Like the whole city was just distraught, and then like
I saw the videos.
That celebration from those people was 50 years of just like that was the Ewing missed layup. That was Charles Smith doing 18 pump fakes. My dad called me and said when Josh Hart missed that layup, he thought it was gonna be Charles Smith all over again. Like every Knicks fan, and like I called my son, and my son goes, "Dad, are you crying?" I go, "Yes." He goes, "You didn't even cry at my graduation." I said,
that's crazy work.
Listen,
it's crazy
Fred,
work,
Fred, I was jumping up and down, running around like I have never experienced. That was an out of body experience. Like, and to know that, I'm praying that they end it in 5. Like, if they win in 6, I'm good. I just want to win it, but I know like I'll be good. I don't need to see another Yankee. I've seen Yankee championships. I've seen Cowboy championships. Sorry, Josh. I've seen Cowboy championships. Like I've seen the Rangers win. I have never ever seen the Knicks win. And you talk about just years and years of heartache. Talking about 2013 with Knicks tape, and they choke it. They choked Indiana. Like just it. Like this right here is just like it's a moment where like me and the goddamn janitor were sitting there hugging each other. Like people in the streets were just walking to each other and just hugging each other. It was insane in the city. It was like I bumped into Stephen A. Smith's nephew, and he
Joe.
It's Josh Smith, and he was sitting there just hugging me, going crazy. I was walking down 45th Street, and he just I see him, and he just starts dapping me up crazy. It was the most out of body experience ever, and I can't wait for tomorrow. I'm praying to God that the Knicks have an ability of just blowing teams out by 40 in closeout games, that they blow them out, get it done early, because there's not enough NYPD. There's not enough cops in the city to maintain what's going to happen if they win it in New York City.
Yeah,
they're not going to be able to stop anything. So hopefully they win it over there, and this way the city can have some type of hope of surviving. If not, see, here we go. Hater.
Wait, real quick. I gotta ask you this one last question, real quick. Josh, what was the biggest surprise at PCA this year?
Biggest,
if there were any.
So one thing actually was, it was part of the PCA experience, but it was actually the day before in Baton Rouge. We got to have dinner at the governor's mansion and That's Cigars. Cool. And, he has been a champion for, the New Orleans show for Cigars. And, we were there for like 4 hours with smoking cigars, had, incredible dinner with his wife and his friends. So that was really cool to see. We had met the governor. He spoke the year before at the show, but to be able to go to the governor's mansion to have a cigar dinner, that was pretty cool. I have a lot of things for Vegas that are going to be incredible moments. I think the other funny story related to the trade show, real quick, is I almost had one of the parties shut down. We almost got unintentionally. So one of the contractors that we work with, they're like, "Hey, do you want to come over and get a really cool photo?" And I'm like, "Sure, yeah, whatever." And so we had like a fire thrower that was at the entranceway. They were like twirling fire sticks around or whatever. So like these like big things that were lit on fire, and they're like, "Oh, you're going to do this photo." So we get this photo, and it looks like a badass photo. They got it just in time because the fire marshal came over and started screaming at me and screaming at the fire thrower. Like, "You can't do this, get out of here," all this stuff. So I thought they were going to shut down our opening party, the one at the sugar mill, because I was lighting my cigar on the fire twirlers.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy as hell.
Oh, but I got the photo. Quick. I got the photo.
You got the photo? Nice. Man, we would love to see that photo. I would love to see that photo.
So has there anybody you've met that you have been like starstruck by? And had a cigar with, where you're like, "I can't believe I'm having a cigar with this person"?
So there's one that I'm trying to make happen. And like, I thought he was going to come to the show because he has his own cigar. Like I said, I'm a big music industry fan. And I really just want to have a cigar with Rick Ross. Like Rick Ross has his own cigar. Yeah. And like, to me, like he's another one that just has badass swagger that I like. Yeah. I've read 2 of his books. Like, I listen to his music. Like, I know he smokes cigars. I want the photo, like him wearing sunglasses, the chains. Like, it would be even cooler if it was in like a Maybach or a Rolls Royce. But I will take my office. So he has a concert in August, and I've been trying to reach out to his team saying, "Hey, why don't you come over for a cigar?" Like, I think that would be just, I would be starstruck at that moment. I am supposed to have a cigar with Conor McGregor in the next few months. And
Nice.
that one I'll be a little starstruck as well too. But like politicians, like I've smoked cigars with many of them. Earlier this year, the president did not smoke a cigar, but I was smoking a cigar when I was listening to the president. So like, I've got to see at all levels of government. So I don't really get starstruck with that anymore. But like some of the music industry people, I think it would be just like, if I'm a fan of theirs, it would be interesting. Professional athletes too. I mean, a couple of them that smoke cigars. I mean, like if I had a bucket list, I would love to smoke a cigar with Michael Jordan.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
So
Jim Kelly's not on the list.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas.
A lot of the NFL players smoke cigars, and I've gotten to have cigars with a lot of NFL players. That it's not as like I've been trying to also smoke cigars with Alex Ovechkin because he's DC. I know I'm close with his friend who smokes cigars. I don't know if Ovechkin does, but again, like it's kind of a history nerd, Michael Jordan history, Alex Ovechkin history.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's like really contemporaries. I know LeBron, Steph Curry, they smoke cigars. It wouldn't be as impactful as like a Jordan to me,
Yeah.
You know what?
I like sounding like Rick Ross. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love doing my little Rick Ross impersonation. I think is top tier. It is definitely top tier.
Go for it, Fred.
You want me to do it? I can do it. All right, hold on. Oh, it's your man, Ricky Ross, the boss. I'm coming in. I'm smoking cigars with the man, Joshua Habursky. Yeah, man, we in here in the Maybach, baby. You know what I'm saying? When we smoking cigars, we're talking about life. It's all about life and money and lemon pepper wings, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, somebody got to clip that right there.
Believe that.
Allegations.
How you think? Was that pretty good?
That was awesome.
Good.
It was awesome.
That was great, Fred.
I just got two things before we end.
Yeah.
But one thing is if I know we talked about it off camera, but if there is any chance of somehow bringing that El Politico back or doing some type of version of that, please do. And then secondly, I know that you were talking about being in Portland. If you do go to Portland again, I know we have some guys in the Discord that have a shop called Relief Cigars.
I went there.
Oh, you went there? Okay, cool.
So I had their shop exclusive with Lampert. They have an event tomorrow releasing it. So I had that. Yeah, it was a great cigar.
That's where Sean's at. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sean's a great guy. Yeah.
All right, well, so Fred, we're gonna start off with you this week, Fred. How is your mental health, Fred? So we're gonna start off with you this week, Fred. How is your mental health, Fred? You should have clarity.
I have a lot of clarity. I can say it. Josh, listen, Josh, I got a vasectomy 2 weeks ago, and because me and the wife, we're not trying to have any more kids. We have 4, so yeah, we're not trying to have any more kids, and so got a chance to release some things, and I'm enjoying my time. So, my mind is a lot clearer. I have a lot more motivation with things. So yeah, but other than that, man, I'm doing good. And real quick, y'all, my neighbor surprised me. He surprised me. He makes nubbers. He makes nubbing tools. And here's his card. Here's his card right here, the nubber. And so he made a nubbing tool for the show for us.
That's sweet.
Nice.
And it's really, really cool. It looks like a real cigar. It comes so he made 2 of them. So he puts them in cellophane,
He puts them in cellophane, and so it looks like a real cigar. This is how it looks. It got a nice little nubbing tool, and also there's a magnet at the end. So if you want to stick it onto something, it sticks onto something. So shout out to my neighbor. His name is Bill. He does have a website for anybody that wants a nubbing tool that's into nubbing tools. Or if you want to get a Cigar Avenger nubbing tool, I'm sure he would not mind making one for you. And I have his card. So anybody that wants his information, let me know. Send me a message, whatever. No, we're not sponsored or anything, but just to shout him out for doing this, because he didn't have to. He did this out the kindness of his heart for us. And so it's really, really cool. So shout out to Mr. Bill, my neighbor. Shout out to him. But other than that, man, Josh, how are you doing mentally, physically, emotionally? How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm a lot of travel, very busy. Trying to wrap up this semester with FIU, get through the teaching side of things too. I am actually going Sunday and Monday. I'll be in New York City and doing some meetings with Cigar Aficionado and the like, and kind of a quick trip. And then I'm back in DC for 3 weeks. I'm kind of happy not traveling at all. So I got to get through New York. But
stop by my hotel, man. I'll take care of you. I work on 41st and 5th Avenue, so just stop by. I'll take care of you, man. All right,
appreciate it.
It's called the Ondas 5th Avenue.
Awesome. Yeah, it'll be a quick trip. I'm going to Amelia Bellato's Italian restaurant, so I'm excited for that one. And but no, I'm really positive, really happy. We got a lot of fun stuff in store for the rest of the year.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. We can't wait for sure. Definitely can't wait. And we will be at PCA next year for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll definitely be at PCA next year. I'm looking forward to it. We're looking forward to it.
Steven, how you doing?
Steve-O, how you doing, man? Mentally, physically, emotionally, how you doing?
Doing good. I had a busy week. My partner that I work with, we're like, I'm one of two. So the partner that I work with, he's on a very much needed vacation. So, so on top of covering what I'm covering his job, and he just got like a new position. So I'm covering his new stuff as well. So yeah, my week was very busy. This is like the first time I've like really looked forward to a Friday. I'm like, okay, I need this week to be over. So, I got another week to go while he's still gone, and then I get to go on vacation, and then he'll cover for me. But other than that, though, man, I'm doing good. My son came home with he made the honor roll, in the
there we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man, wife's doing good, kids doing good. No complaints.
Get them Robux.
Oh yeah. Or whatever else he wants, but yeah.
Isaiah.
Yeah, I'm doing great. How you,
Listen. First of all, like, I'm through the moon, man. I am through the moon. Like my son graduated high school. I got my little guy here. We went to Chinatown today, so like that's all. Like all he want to do is go to New York City. I'm like, dude, like you're killing me. Like, it's hot as hell. It's been like this week has been one of the them winning that game. I'm still on like cloud 9, and I don't know how to come down from it. Like, I'm hoping that everything is done, like this way I can just really explode and just party and call out of work for like the next 3 days. And just get I don't care. I'm gonna get shit faced drunk and party in the city and not come home at all. Like, nice. and just check in. Like, I'm alive. I'm still partying. Like that's all. Like, but like, listen, like the summertime is always the best time for me because, like summertime is when I get my sons. So as long as I get time with them, man, there's nothing else in the world that matters more, man.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for having me on the show.
Thank you for coming, also, man, and enjoy the time with your dad.
We'll do.
Like that's that's to me that like a father-son relationship to me is everything.
I got to get him a cigar now. So
yeah, there you go. Get him something good.
All right, guys, take care.
All right, take care.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Josh.
All right, guys. All right.
I don't know if Fred is going to hop back on, but
yeah, you know,
I just want to thank everybody for all the comments and the questions. You guys are awesome. We appreciate y'all. To the next one. I don't think we have a show tomorrow. Probably next weekend.
No. I think we're having Felipe on tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Fred.
Yeah, so we're doing double duty. So tomorrow Felipe will be on, and so come on, and of course you guys know Felipe, Cigars Unbanded. So, the family's coming on, and we're gonna sit. We're gonna have a free smoke session. It's gonna be a real good time, man. So come, pull up, enjoy. I'm gonna talk plenty of shit about Peter. So Peter, if you're still in the chat, just know, it's gonna be a roast session.
My bad, y'all. First, the Wi-Fi just went out on me. My bad.
It's all good. It's all good.
You're all good.
Oh wait, y'all already said everything we need to say, right?
I have everything we need to say.
Oh well, we're good. We're good. Listen, well, y'all, for those who are still in here, man, listen, we want to appreciate y'all. We want to thank y'all, and we appreciate y'all for all the continued support, even with the crazy Wi-Fi that happens all the time with us.
Hey,
all the crazy stuff.
Everybody but Darshawn in the snow. Appreciate everybody but Darshawn in the snow.
Man.
Right? Tell him
we appreciate you, Joshua, man. You've been here since day one.
Keep that sorry ass snow in Cleveland.
Bro.
Keep that shit in Cleveland.
Man, listen, y'all. I'm excited for what we got planned for this summer. Now check it out. Also, so on the 20th, we're gonna have Chase Infinite. If you know Chase Infinite, you'll know him and Marvin are brothers from Self Scientific. Really, they are true pioneers in the music industry. So it'd be really, really cool when we're gonna have him on and talk to him. And then after that, we're gonna have Stefan Lampert is gonna be joining us again on the show. We're gonna be talking about his Baba Yaga, the new cigar that he dropped out, the Baba Yaga. So if you don't have the Baba Yaga yet, make sure you get it. Make sure you get it. We're going to have it. We're going to smoke. I know Steven won't be able to join us on that show. He'll be with the family. And so, definitely make sure you guys tune in for that show.
Hey, and heads up. So there might be a show on the 13th. We might have a show with Joe Smith on the 13th.
For sure.
So his cousin is working everything out now to see if Joe's available.
Which is tomorrow, y'all. Which is tomorrow.
So.
Shit! It'll be cool. It'll be cool to have Joe back on the show for those who missed the first show.
I thought Felipe was tomorrow.
Felipe, yeah. We talked to what?
All right, hold on. I got some dates mixed up. Hold on. That's my fault.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Listen, y'all. Look, if you want to, so for anybody that's in the Discord, if you know how to get in the Discord, make sure you go to our Patreon, sign up for a tier. You'll be automatically added to our Patreon. Look, I won't be in the Patreon this weekend. I have things to do. Okay, so I won't be in the Patreon. I have things to do. But listen, the Patreon is not the Patreon. The Discord is open for everybody to go ahead. If you want to hop in, smoke, and anybody see that you're in there, they'll hop in there and smoke with you. Y'all make sure y'all head over to the Discord and listen, y'all smoke, have a good time, be merry, all that other good shit. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We're gonna see y'all tomorrow. Same place, same motherfucking time. Tell a friend to tell a what?
Tell a friend to tell a motherfucking friend. Y'all know the vibes already. Nixon 5.
Look, y'all, we love y'all, man. We appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all tomorrow. 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, same place, baby. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all be easy. Remember, stay lit, stay laughing. Avengers out. We out.